Thank you, Jack. Okay, Jack, hold on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jack. All right, our next piece of business is the roll call. Can you raise your hand if you're a Mount Washington Community Council board member? If you're a Mount Washington, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have all of us here. So we have a full slate of board members. I am looking to have a motion for the approval of last month's meeting minutes. They were all sent to everyone. If I could have that motion and a second, then we can vote on those. Gary makes a motion. Do we have a second? Barb Slider? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. All those opposed? Great, it's passed. If everybody could take a quick look at the adoption of tonight's agenda that was also sent via email. If we can have a motion to adopt those.
I'll make a motion.
Margot makes a motion. Jack seconds. All those in favor? Great, we can start the meeting. All right, we are going to approve our treasurer's report because we have a very special guest tonight who has to go to bed by 8 p.m.
Is this one on? Great.
And she ran the numbers.
Yes, John Young, treasurer. Camille Young, assistant treasurer.
Oh, you have to be up here. I'll bring them for you. I got it. Okay.
I'm good. Okay. So hopefully everyone has a treasurer's report within eyesight or close enough on your table. The big news in April was that we received our NSP grant after Rick's amazing performance down at City Hall last month. So you'll see a $10,000 inflow in April. And then in addition to that, we got the AIG grant, $830. That's I forget the acronym, see me after class. It is...
when you originally invest in neighborhoods, you
Yes.
get the interest. So originally back 20 years ago, we invested and paid in over, I think it was $7,000 we paid in to become a member of Invest in Neighborhoods. And then every year you get a dividend.
Yes, so $830 in 2025. The board met 2 weeks ago and discussed a couple proposals for how we can use those funds. I think the leading candidate is community garden, but more to come. So we'll update the group when we have concrete details. Beyond that, April was relatively quiet. I will say that May, we've started to actually pay out NSP projects in 2025. So you'll see more activity going out, which is great because it means that we're on track. Any questions or any motions to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make the motion to approve. Would somebody want to second it?
Bob will
Great,
second.
thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we're going to move right on to our lovely neighborhood officer, and you're going to have to go here. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Mine's fairly simple, more simple than it normally is. You guys' numbers looked pretty good. You guys were actually like one of the lower crime rates for the neighborhoods that I have, at least, which you guys aren't normally, so that's good for you guys. You guys had one strangulation in the past 28 days, and that's a domestic violence related issue. So I won't go into that stuff for the victim. You guys had 2 burglaries / B&Es. One of them was an actual burglary. They went through a broken window and took items out of a house. And the other one was they broke into a shed and took a motorcycle. So your guys' stats are kind of doubled with those 2 because they're 2 crimes into one since they took stuff as well. So that kind of doubles your guys' crime rates. The motorcycle was in a 2100 block of Ronaldson. and the burglary was 1,800 block of mirrors. I tried to talk to the investigator about it. They left before I could get over to them, so I'm not really sure the facts on it or not. Normally they put notes in it, and they didn't have any notes in it yet, so I'm assuming that she's still investigating it. There were 2 theft from autos, which is very good for your guys' community, because a lot of our smaller ones have about the same amount. So you guys are locking your guys' cars, keeping stuff out of plain sight. That's the biggest things that get swiped. Both of those were the vehicles were left unlocked. So just kind of remember to lock your car when you guys go in. You guys had 4 auto thefts, and those were 2 of them were known. One was an arrest, one was the motorcycle, and then the other one was kind of like an unauthorized use. I wouldn't really call it a theft. That someone let somebody borrow their car and then didn't want them to borrow it anymore. So that's about it for me. Anybody got anything for me? Yeah.
If I may. And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. This is for the good of the order. Thank you, Officer Martin. Thank you, Officer Tim Bly. During our last drug take-back event, we collected 7 boxes, 74.7 pounds of unwanted medication, and that all happens because of CPD. Thank you.
Thank you. It was my honor. I really appreciated working out there. So thank you. Anybody else got anything for me? Alrighty. If anything comes up, questions, concerns throughout the month or whatever, you can get a hold of her. She knows how to get a hold of me. So however you guys want to do it.
We meet in the parking lot standard.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Officer Martin. All right. Do we have anyone here from Mt.Washington Schools? Anyone from Mt.Washington School? Okay, go if you would like to talk about it. We know we did Nights Fest. And it was really a great success and fun.
On the back of the drug take-back event flyer, again, because I'm cheap and color copies are expensive, Health Source did a special program for a Mt.Washington school class. And if you look at the pictures, the kids learned how to make their own first aid kit. They learned about healthcare, careers, job readiness. A really neat event that Health Source put on for Mt.Washington School. And I just wanted to give them kudos for doing that. Thank you.
All right, Sans Montessori is also not here. They did email an update. Tomorrow is the last day of school, so there will be a sort of rolling wave. So I would probably try to avoid Corably between 3:30 and 4:15 tomorrow. They are very excited that their children will be with the CRC this summer. So that's all the news from Sans Montessori. Did anybody have any commentary or additional comments? Yes.
I was going to mention.
Well, Gary?
Sorry. Mt.Washington's carnival last Friday was very successful and very nicely put on. So Dickie needs recognition for doing that. It was very well. A lot of people, a lot of things, and everybody's very positive.
Yeah, we were going to do that good of the order, but thank you for mentioning that. Nikki did put down a wonderful. Okay, so the next one is CRC. And this does affect everyone. So if Facebook, you're on here, the meeting times will be changing. So.
So, hey, this is a lot louder. I'm Jason, if you guys still don't know yet. Okay. So, as Priscilla was saying, our hours are are changing for the summer. So we close at 8 o'clock. That begins the 1st of June. So due to that, the meetings will get pushed up to a 6 o'clock start time for June and August. Just a couple quick things. I mentioned them last month, I believe, but our pool will open on June 2nd. It'll run through August 9th. The membership pricing is, I believe it's the same as it was last year. So I think it's $30 for youth and $45 for adults for the season, or you can do $2 a day or $6 a day for youth and adults. A couple of the programs that we're offering up at the pool this year, I mentioned before, is a floating meditation program. Think of it as like laying in a hammock, only on an air mattress in the water. You know, it'll be Monday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30. You do have to register ahead of time online just to reserve a float. And then the other one we're bringing back up to the pool is water aerobics, and that'll be on Wednesdays from 8:30 to 9:15. The meditation class is $10 per class, and the water aerobics is $5 per class. Other than that, we are starting our summer day camp in about 2 weeks. We'll be training our staff next week, and then the camp starts the week after that. So we're going to be kind of busy here for the next few months. Does anybody have any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have our organizations. We will also be hearing some very exciting news from the library, but I think MWCURC, you are up first. You have the microphone. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to, MWCURC, we're going to come up with a few things. Oh, microphone. Can't read it there through my eyes.
I have to hear you at home.
So, spaghetti dinners have been very successful for the tower lighting. So everybody needs to know, we want to thank 484 for all the years they did do the spaghetti dinners. We are moving them September 20th. Thanks to Mark Rebb, his church is going to be having it at their church, and that's the Methodist church next to Sands Montessori, and it's September 20th is our first one there. Everybody should have a flyer, hopefully, in front of them. Front page tells you about Flag Day, which is also the celebration of lighting of the tower. We're starting out at 8:20 at the tower, and we're going to recognize all our sponsors. All these folks donate a lot of money or time to it, and we're going to recognize the sponsors, and we're also going to recognize all of the different volunteers that have helped make this tower complete. We will always keep raising money for the tower because there will always be expenses. A special shout out to the waterworks. I don't know if anybody went by there. It took them 3 days, but they dug all 12 trenches to run all the electricity underground. And that was all donated by the waterworks. Our electrician's up there installing the electric right now on there. The parade, we're looking for people to participate in the parade. We're looking for people to just come and watch the parade. It's the same parade as we've done for close to 60 years, and it'll end up at the Legion. The Legion will have prizes, and there will be food down at the Legion that night. But it'll start at 7 o'clock instead of 6 because people have problem with us starting at 6, getting home. So we moved it back 1 hour for the night, and that's on July 3rd. And then, should I talk about recycle cans?
That would be great. I was going to ask you to please do that.
All right. I received a phone call from Karen Lucan. It's a lady named Massey who's in charge of the program, and she had gotten a hold of Karen, and so Karen asked me to go count cans, and we've put in for the recycling cans to replace the green ones throughout the business district and go all the way up to UDF. There are 17 different cans, and we're hoping that we get the grant to be able to put the new cans in. It'll just modernize the cans. The metal cans are starting to show their age. So thanks for Karen doing it. And this Miss Massey, she lives in Mt.Washington, and it was nice she called out and asked if we were interested. Of course, we're interested. Anybody want to give us money or help? We'll take it every time. Then if you look inside the brochures, you'll see all of Stanberry's, all their programs. Please take this home and put it on your fridge. They do a wonderful job in the summer, and they don't get a high attendance, and it's not right. I mean, it's something that these people work hard, and they're nice programs, and really we should very much support everything that they're doing with that. So every child at Sands, Mt.Washington School, and Guardian Angels, they receive the same program. On their last day, on one of their last days of school, they're taking this home to their family. So hopefully that'll help the attendance for the night of the lighting of the tower, for the parade, and all the programs for Stanberry. And as I say, it's great to know that people are overlooking and trying to help us by calling and offering to do the recycling cans. So I think that's everybody covered. Oh, one more thank you. 484, Glenn Johnson had been to this meeting for many, many years. And honestly, he did so much with 484. There's a new commander down there, and he seems very positive. So we're happy about that. But the shout out has to go out there for Glenn Johnson for all the years that he's put through this community. It made this, I've been coming to this part of this parade for 52 years, and Glenn's always been there, and he's just a wonderful person. But he's got some health issues. Be nice if you get a chance, think about Glenn, and hopefully it'll help him.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions for this, Kirk, MWCRC? All right. Bob, Katie or Jim, are you willing to talk about CDC? Okay, you can give that to Jim. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Tucker. I'm on the board of the CDC. The only update we have this month is that we have put in a grant, an NBDIP minor grant to get some funding to help improve Tom Roth Way, Alley, I forget what it's called.
Tom Roth's Place. Tom Roth's Place,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so no other updates than that, and we will keep you informed as and when we hear more about that.
Great. Any questions for CDC?
I guess, in what way would you want to improve? It's a real
Oh, sorry.
small
Hold on.
spot. Yeah. I'd just like to ask, last year I did the maintenance in the business district. It's a really narrow area, and it used to have benches that were all removed because there was so much drug dealing in there. That was mentioned by Katie before about putting in tables and chairs. I'd hate to see us go back to that. Can you tell us in what way you were thinking about improving Tom Roth Place?
It's general beautification to make it a safer, more accessible place. You know, right now, with the hope that we are having more people and more eateries come to our neighborhood. So one of the things that we're trying to do is make a place for people to go and relax and eat their lunch, perhaps. And so tables and benches, yes, but they would be very small and they would be circular, so it wouldn't be a place where people could sleep or anything like that. And then another priority for us is lighting.
Okay.
You said benches. We had to throw out many benches that we had raised a lot of money for because people didn't sleep on them. They're not going to be more than 5 for one person.
They'll have barriers so that they
That's
can't
right.
be leaning on.
As we have discussed with you before, Bob, and yeah,
Okay.
everybody.
So they would be
knows this.
benches, but they'd have the separators. Is that correct?
That's
Great.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Just to make sure, there is supposed to be a rain barrel going there too. So
Okay,
at
sure.
the corner, I'm like,
I think
don't
the plan
forget
was that we would, we don't even know what the outcome is of the
Okay.
grant application, but then when that happens, we will bring it back and hopefully there'll be some collaboration there.
Okay. One last question. Any news on the beer and ice? What's going on there? Do we have is there a tenant or you don't know?
No other updates at this time.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay,
yeah.
great. All right. The next one is SPAC. Is anyone here from SPAC? All right. Then I guess I will just tell you this Saturday, because it's in here and it's pretty big news. They are starting the kickoff with the puppets and with the musician Miss Joni. And then we go into Friday, June 6th, which is Tracy Walker. So a pretty big name here in Cincinnati. It should be, I think, a lovely time. And I guess the other thing we should say, since all of us are here, all the organizations in Mount.Washington work together. We put on the spring egg hunt so community council, all of us all got together. The spring egg hunt went off beautifully. There were over 70 children who participated in the inaugural spring egg hunt, which was not super well advertised, but it really came off. The weather ended up being beautiful. Everything went off without a hitch. The kids had a great time. So there are some really great things with the community working together. And then Paul, I guess, American Legion, 484. There is nothing for 484. Then Paul Birch, I think you have some exciting news for everybody.
I'm Paul from the Mt.Washington Library. Not like this. I mentioned before the library is getting a long overdue renovation, and the only bad news is that we'd be closed for 6 months. The good news is, wow.
Yeah, here, I'm going to switch my.
Okay, thank you.
Put them far away from each other.
Okay, thank you. The good news is that we've been able to acquire, is it me? Stand on one leg. It's okay. How about like this?
There, it was me.
Oh, okay.
That's good. New equipment.
We're just figuring it out. Okay. The library's been able to acquire a temporary location, so we're not going to be away for 6 months. What's going to happen is June 6th will be our last day in our current location. We'll close at 6 o'clock, and we'll be closed for the weekend. The original plan was to reopen that Monday. We're having some technical issues with Alta Fiber. So does anybody here work for Alta Fiber? Okay, good. But anyway, we're having some issues, but it looks like we're going to open the following Wednesday, which will be the 11th. So the space we're going to be in is the former Key Bank right next to Raimundo's and Hosfit. So the library will operate out of that for 6 to 8 months. So you can still pick up your holds, still get your material. It'll be a smaller version of the library. We're calling it Library Light, but we still are going to give you all the services you need. You still get your free printing. You can get your free copies, by the way. I meant to talk to you about that. Free copies at the library.
Paid for them.
Yeah, I know. We need to fix that.
Okay.
So free printing, computers, all the different things that you come to expect from the library. So we're not leaving the community, so we're really excited about that, and then excited to reopen either late December or early next year in our renovated space. So, questions?
Where are you going to be?
The former Key Bank, right next to Raimundo's and Hosfit, so you can get your pizza. If you feel guilty about it, go work at a Hosfit and then come over to the library. Check out something. So.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. All right, we are rolling along tonight. Holy moly. We are going to go ahead and get into general business. There is, as everyone probably knows, there is a huge, I guess, goings on in Hyde Park. So I don't know if Mary Lou Bolsey would like to speak about it. Oh, you have to stand up here.
Okay. I don't need that. I
No,
don't
you
think-
do, because they
Yeah,
have to hear you
okay,
at home.
can't hear me there. Okay. My name is Mary Lou Bolsey, and I'm a trustee up here
No, right here. There you
at
go.
the cemetery. And,
You got- yes, they
right.
do. So
oh,
they
the-
can get you. Thank you.
okay, I'm a trustee over here at the cemetery, and I've been a resident of East Side of Cincinnati my entire life. I am not a resident of Hyde Park, but I've been resident of Mount Lookout and East Walnut Hills and Mt.Washington. The situation going on here has to do with City Council. They approved that most of the business districts will be 5-story buildings be allowed, and all of a sudden someone's come in with a proposed hotel and upscale apartments, and they are now approving an 8 or 9-story building in Hyde Park. So we have a referendum or petition to put this issue, zoning issue on the November ballot. And that's what my petition is for, that most of you signed, and I thank you very much. I appreciate it. If anybody else wants to sign it, let me know, or I'll stick around. Otherwise, I can continue to go around and try to find signatures. Tomorrow is our last day, and we have about 12,000 signatures, but they say about 30 to 40% of those signatures may not be valid. So thank you for listening. I spent many, many years sitting at meetings, so shorter the better.
Thank you, Mary Lou. If you're wondering what our stance was, we did not take a stance. We did not have enough time before they asked for letters. The only thing that Mt.Washington has done is written a letter saying we would like you to adhere to the zoning laws. So that's the only stance that Mt.Washington Community Council has taken, was please just adhere to the current zoning laws. All right. The next thing is Duncan. So last month we voted on Duncan. They are now just applying for permits, reapplying. So we will be discussing that probably at another later date again, because people have come up and said, planning department let us know that was premature. So we're trying to, as your board, come up, how do we deal with this in the future? Because sometimes people will apply for a permit, and we had this over on Benneville, between meetings, and their hearing takes place. So we don't have time for community engagement, and that's exactly what we do want to have, is community engagement. So we're trying to find out from the planning department what is the best path forward to make sure that the community can be involved but not do it too prematurely. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? All right. At this point, we are going to table the Walgreens fencing and handrail. We have not been able to speak to the managers of the owners yet, so we want to talk about that. But if you do notice, if you walk, you'll see that the handrail is down for the ramp, and that is concerning on many levels. The Hillside Initiative, I was not able to attend the meeting. I was on the water last night, so Julie Reimer, our secretary, is going to give you an update on that. I sent that out to all of you if you're on our mailing list about what's going on, and the Hillside Trust is involved, Eric Russo, and the city is going to try and work with the Hillside Initiative to see how do we go forward with development because of erosion issues. As all of you know, something happened on Eastern Avenue, the taxpayers had to pay for it. So that's what they're trying to be a little bit more cautious about what's going to happen going forward. Oh, you have to be up here.
Up here, okay, yeah. Yeah, you can't bring this. All right.
You have to be up front.
Oh, be all,
There you
okay,
go.
okay. We had an hour and a half virtual meeting, and so I've condensed this into a small summary of what happened. The importance of Hillside of having standards for it is because 19% of the incorporated portion of the city of Cincinnati is on hillsides. Many of them have already been developed, and some of them have had catastrophes. Eric Russo of the Hillside Trust gave a history of hillside development from 1800 to present day, and he had a lot of slides showing things like where an entire parking lot for an apartment building fell down a hill. You already saw what happened along Columbia Parkway. There have been many issues like that, but the good news is there have been improvements in engineering with time, and so the city said the standards right now are not up to date. What they do require of developers is very likely inadequate, so they've hired a geotechnical engineering firm to help inform the standards so that we don't continue as taxpayers have to pay for these erosion, landslides, so that you, as someone who lives near a development, doesn't end up having harm to your investment in your home. And so the meeting was held last night by the Buildings and Inspections Department and the Zonings Department, and they said, things aren't very clear in the zoning laws, and a lot of times developers don't know who to go to. They're trying to make that clearer. And so hopefully the consultant will help with that. They're also considering things like, instead of just having one hillside development plan, possibly having mini overlays. Some places have greater steepness than others, and they might end up having multiple hillside overlays. They don't know yet what they'll do. Most of the meeting, about 2/3 of it, were city employees that attended. About 1/3 of us who were there, some people were there to talk about the horrors of 8 years in courts now, where a developer came in, clear cut a hillside and just dumped, and then the adjoining properties have landslides, things like that. And so we want, what the city wants to avoid, and what we want to avoid, is ever having to pay for that kind of thing. So they did stress, they said the most important thing that residents can do right now is take the survey that's been put out. It's called the Cincinnati Hillside Initiative Survey. Especially if you've been affected by hillside development or you think that you might be, please tell them about your experience. They said it's the most important thing you can do. We won't know what their consultant advises until either the fall or the winter. That's the next time they'll get together. But in the meantime, they did show a QR code. I called today to ask if we could have it and nobody could find it. So all I could find was a link, and you can go to this link and it will pull up the survey. And it's very easy. I filled it out myself, but I'm gonna pass these around. Take this if you want to fill out a survey. The city said it's the most important thing you can do. They said, fill it out and tell 3 friends to fill it out. So anyway, let me just pass that along to you. Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, yes. Are there any questions about that? Yes.
Will this now affect the development of Bentonville?
Benneville's not a hillside. Ranchville. Oh, it very well could. It depends, because that's an area that has, to be called a hillside, you must have 20% slope or greater, and that has many areas that are even greater than 20% slope. So it definitely could. It could affect. A lot of the things they're looking at are what are adequate walls, what's proper drainage. They're looking at everything. And so, yes, it could affect what the developer has to do in order to secure the adjoining properties. You got it. Yeah, so that's coming. Thank you, Gary. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Oh,
wait, hold on. Let me bring you.
Was the meeting last night a follow-up on the Hillside Initiative?
It's the
That was
same.
about
It
a
was the
month
same
ago, this meeting.
I think so. Was it the
So-
same
It was called the Hillside Initiative. There had been one.
Yes.
A little while ago. This was the meeting number
Yeah.
2.
Okay, well, on meeting number 1, a lot of us had mentioned that we would like to be able to find these notes that everybody chimed in on to see what was being done and what is being done.
They said they were going to try to post them. They were going to try to post notes about what is being done?
Yeah, we all had the tables, sat around the tables.
Yeah.
Sat around tables, and somebody took notes on all of our concerns.
Okay.
And we were talking about where can we find all this information, because there's 8 tables.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of concerns. There's a lot of conversation.
Yeah. No,
But
no one
is it
even
going
referenced.
right in the garbage can, or do we look at it first?
Well, I can say they mentioned that meeting happened. They didn't provide any summary of that meeting. There is a consensus, though, already from Eric Russo and some of the geotechnical engineers that one of the major problems that needs to be addressed is that right now there are very few penalties for developers that go in, clear cut, and the taxpayers pay for it.
Right.
And the city has done very little about it, but that needs to change. The city has to make clear standards, and then they have to enforce them and have financial penalties to developers that don't follow those rules.
Well, this table's concern is Ranchville. That's
Yes, okay.
Because
I don't know, they didn't provide any,
hill.
well, I know they didn't provide any summary of the meeting.
Yeah.
I'll ask for one.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Gary, do I return this to you?
I guess our hope is that they've been doing this in,
Okay, thank you.
I guess they've been doing this in Europe forever, so let's hopefully we can get this done here. All right, one of the last things that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to hand it over and give a shout out to our lovely NSP manager. We did get that grant, so we have not made a final decision. It is a little bit over $800. So if you have some really great idea, please let us know. It is your money. It is the community's money. We are only 9 or 10 of us, so we would love to have, if you have any ideas for that money that we could do something, there might be something out there we've never thought of. So please feel free to get involved. Before I bring Rick up, I'd like to give a huge shout out to all the board members who got involved, especially Rick and especially Jacob Meyer, who not only did the Pumpkin Chuck website for the community council, but went out, counseled us, trained us, and got all of this equipment through the NSP program. So Rick, I'm going to bring you on up and you can tell us a little bit more, and then maybe Jacob can answer the question about the YouTube channels for us, for some of us who aren't on Facebook.
NSP, again, that's the $10,000 that we got a few months ago. During the month of May, we have spent $1,889.43. 682.93 was for this lovely new equipment. And I'm calling tonight, this is our first pancake. You know how Sunday morning you're doing breakfast and the first pancake always has a few issues? Well, this is our first pancake. Especially to the folks who are watching on Facebook. If you have comments or suggestions, be sure and send them to us. You guys are seeing something that we're not in this meeting, so let us know. Other expenditure, we had first round of the business district spring cleanup, and we went a little bit over on that one, $1,206.50. That's $346.50 over. I'm really not worried about that because we have summer maintenance to go. We have fall cleanup to go. We also have $1,200 budgeted for the tower lights that are all in that same bunch. And so we can move some funds around to make that work easily. So we're off to a good start and we'll keep spending. We do have, and by the way, you have like one or two of these sheets at your table. We do have a holdover from last year. Jim Tucker made five pieces of artwork with kids. Actually, Jim didn't do it. The kids did it. They're really they're really neat. We're a little behind because, this was a 2024 project, but Jim did coat these things with a special epoxy coating, and that had to cure for a few months. So they are ready to go. The board discussed this a couple weeks ago, and we decided the best place to put these would be in the fenced area right outside the water tower. The fence would protect them. We have to get permission from Cincinnati Waterworks. So we're in the process of doing that now, and hopefully they'll let us put those up. They're really cool. It's cute.
Any questions for Rick? All right, great. That is going to be so much fun to look at, especially when the library goes in and the lights are on the tower. It will be absolutely amazing. Margot is going to talk about the Mount Washington cleanup plan, and I'm just going to make a note because Margot didn't know about this. We have had a request coming in via email about getting a dumpster. We will be working on that also over the summer because I know people like to have the dumpster, but Margot's going to talk about a cleanup here in Mount Washington. Okay, but you'll be in touch with Keep America. That's basically what
okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to, just like last year, get a hold of Keep Cincinnati Beautiful, and we'll do a community cleanup. So it'll be about 4 weeks out. Everything will be communicated. We'll meet, clean up some streets, some things in the park, and have a great time.
Wonderful. So thank you, Margot.
Sorry.
No, that's great. So no, that will be great. We will get together, and that might be maybe in conjunction with our new recycling. That would be a lovely thing to happen. So any more announcements or upcoming events for Mount Washington that we haven't already covered? So we have things going on at the pool. We have things going on in the park. We have things going on in the business district. So any other items that need to be brought up or discussed? All right.
Can I do just one fast one for the cemetery? Do you mind?
Yes,
Wait,
go
can I
right.
come back over there?
Yes, you
Yeah,
have to
okay.
come out in front.
All right. I'm sorry. This is a real quick one. We're super grateful to an amazing arborist and the 6th fastest female tree climber in the world, who's a neighbor of Mount Washington named Lily Soderlin. And she lobbied for the Mount Washington Cemetery in the Ohio Arborological Society. They pick one location a year where they bring arborists in and they will do tree removal, pruning. We get all these volunteers together, and she lobbied, and the Mount Washington Cemetery won. So we're the one place in Ohio, yeah. So that's going to be on September 11th. And so the cemetery will be loaded with shredder trucks and lift trucks and all that. And we already did a survey together. We have like 8 dead trees. They're going to take care of all those things at no cost to us. I already said I'm going to pay for lunch for all the workers that come that day because I am so grateful. This is so expensive to have done. But we are so grateful to the Ohio Arbortological Society that they picked us, and to Lily Soder. Great.
Wow. That's huge.
All right, any other good of the order? I do have one. Is there any other good of the order? All right, well, one of our board members just received her master's in planning. And not only that, but I think 3 children under the age of 5. So a mother of 3 under the age of 5 and got her master's just a few weeks ago. So a huge shout out to Teddy. So she now has her master's in planning. Is that correct? In planning?
Yes, community planning.
Community planning. So, so that is a really great shout out. We have a lot of things going on with school getting out tomorrow. Please just be careful because the children will be everywhere, especially I'm sure at Creamy Whip. It will be crazy. But yeah, please just remember there will be a lot of children all over the place since it's the last day of school. And once again, a huge shout out to Jacob, who's guided us through so many challenges so gracefully and thoughtfully. So we really appreciate it. All right. On that note, do we have, is there anything else that I am missing? Yes. Oh, the YouTube. Yes. Okay.
So the council has asked me to help get this equipment and stuff, working some kinks out with it. We have 2 microphones now. We will be downloading the live streams and putting them on our website moving forward for like historical records. But also we would like to maybe move to YouTube live stream eventually. So there'll be some information to help us get there. We need to get subscribers to prove that we're a real person, basically, so we can live stream there. And that will mean that you don't have to have a Facebook account in order to watch the live stream. And we can embed the live stream on our website. So basically our website will be a more central hub. But in the meantime, for this meeting, maybe the next one and even the third one will still be on Facebook Live, but then we'll eventually maybe move over. But no matter what, we'll be downloading them and our website will have the videos from the meeting. That's it.
Thank you, Jacob. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn at 7:44?
Priscilla, before we adjourn, I have
Yeah.
a question. I'm probably behind the times, but what is going in by the Creamy Whip? You mentioned it. It looks like where the old pony keg was.
Yes, that's what I asked Jim about. So we are trying to figure out, they got approval to do those upgrades to that building. And then I think the building will be finished and then leased. Is that correct? So yeah, and I think it's under Port, I'm not sure if it's under you or Port Authority, but right now the upgrades were approved, they are taking place, and then there is no tenant yet.
Oh, so there's everybody that asks me, what's going in there?
It's a hot topic. That's a good hot topic to have. So
No tenant yet.
yeah. Okay. All right, wonderful. Do we have a motion to adjourn? I'll make that. Thank you. All right. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. There is a memorial service up at the memorial at Corbley and Sutton. I think it's at 11, but you could look on the Legion website. But we do meet up there. They do have speakers, and it's a very moving ceremony. Thank you so much.
All right. Good job, everybody.
Yeah. Congratulations.
I don't know how I...